So for your current position, for one of the applications, I'm not sure how many applications you're working on, but can you just kind of just give a brief overview of like how the application set up? So like in terms of like, the architecture, what's been set up, and um, yeah, does.
Okay, means you are talking about overall architecture of the application. So basically,
Yeah, and just what it does.
okay, sure. So it's a you can say kind of is being deployed in the AWS environment, and our React or React module is also being deployed. That is taking care of as a front end, and that's further connects or it tries to connect with our that's being as a part of infrastructure. There are being load balancer is being there, and there further our API is that is the central point of the API that is being contacted, and there are the multiple instances are being run, and all these instances or everything is managed by the Kubernetes orchestrator system, where to make the high availability, and the whole system is like that. There is the Oracle that is being deployed, and from our responsibility to capture all the data from there itself. Not only this, there are the data injection is being happened through multiple sources. There are under the umbrella, there are the lot batch process or control are being running. Lambda functions are being written over there. For example, they are being uploaded, then it's being processed, and then further data is being injected to our Oracle. I'm not being the part of that, but under the umbrella, these are the set of projects. But we are a kind of front-facing application holder. At the end, aggregations or the end result executions is happens in our module. So that's is a kind of architecture that we are following, is specifically deployed in the AWS orchestrator system for the high availability.
Okay, and then so can you just describe how your application is used? Like what's a typical user kind of see and do in the application?
Okay, so this is the basically the financial instrument data, and this data is or they are trying to generate the reports for their client. Okay, and report is something the decision making of the investment for the client, because these are the lot of data, and the user were able to write the rules. They can customize their rules as well. So these kind of input they can put it, and these are the for the specifically for the investors who based on these reports they can decide whether they have to take appropriate action, or whether they go for the buying option or selling option. So not only this, whatever the investment they have did, is there any breach as per the guidelines that has been already configured over there. So the basically the investors are the target client for this application.
Okay, so it's the clients can see how their investments are kind of doing, and it just gives them information about all the investments they've made. Like a nice overview of it.
Yep, true.
Okay, that's good. So you mentioned you guys are using microservices. How are you guys using microservices in this application here?
Okay. The microservices communications, we are dealing with the two ways. One is the asynchronous, and second is the synchronous way. Synchronous is the simplest way is the HTTP protocol, and HTTP protocol there are the multiple ways. We can write the like simple HTTP client, that's one. FAN client, or similar kind of aspect, any implementation of connecting the HTTP, that would be kind of synchronous way. And the how when we are doing it, when we need a synchronous response, we should not wait for it. But for example, there are the data processing, whether data batch being uploaded or not, and that could be happen down the time, or you can say after a certain kind of delay, and definitely the status could be managed. In that particular case, we are going for the event driven system. We are using the Kafka in between. For example, if particular file is being uploaded and that takes a longer time, 20 minutes to process it, for example. So if some user has been uploaded there, they get the successful receive message immediately. Your file is being processed and is still in progress. So for that particular case, the message will be received by the Kafka, and that is the other nodes that are keep on watching as a topic, that is what is being has been arrived to process. So they just keep on following, and they are processed through their data. Once the status is completed, the polar system of they can poll it with the status of that. So these are the two ways that we are talking to microservices architecture in our project. But like it's you can say our application is more on the front end kind, where at the end everything is happened and is being finally dumped into the Oracle, and then we are receiving it from there itself, and we are processing and compiling them, applying the business rules, and then expose them as a Spring based REST point. So that's the way.
So are your team is more responsible for the front end work here then?
No, I mean, say it's a kind of like I'm more on the Spring Boot and all those stuff. So I'm comfortable like in the backend
Okay.
side. Yeah.
Okay. So how many microservices do you guys have then for this application?
I'm sorry, can you please pardon your question? I didn't, I'm not.
Yes, sir. Yeah. How many microservices do you guys have in total for this application?
I configuration you're talking about? Uh,
No,
so
just how many different microservices do you guys have right now for this
okay,
application?
okay. So we have around 15 microservices that we are using. Some of them are based on, you can say, Spring Boot based, and few of them where the IO operations are there. Okay, file uploading, file writing. These are the wherever it's being involved. There at that particular case, we have a node based microservices that is utilized. But we are using the serverless as well, if we consider as a microservice. I'm not sure whether we have to. So we have lambdas as well configured in AWS that is responsible for dumping to data in Oracle as well. So these are the types of the microservices that I have used.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you didn't miss much. You're good, Alan? You can hear me okay?
Go ahead, Derek.
Okay. So for your previous position at X, right, you mentioned you were involved in migrating from monolithic to microservices. So can you tell me what the benefit of moving from the monolithic to the microservice architecture that was there?
Mm-hmm. First of all, monolith was the older one. Okay, and it's not like that everywhere microservice architecture fits in. But the advantage of the microservices is huge. For example, if we have one monolith application and that has been deployed, let's say take about any e-commerce website, and it's a monolith. Today I have deployed in some server, and tomorrow or after 3 days there is a big billion day. Okay, and people are searching. 10 lakhs people are searching a website per minute, but only thousands are buying the product. Okay, so the challenge is that if the people are increasing or the number of the requests are being increased in a 10 lakhs as a viewer, so think about like we have to scale up the infrastructure. Let's do that as well. But the drawback of that, most of the people are searching only. Okay, they are searching, going through the product, but unnecessary all the component involved in that particular activity, or you can say in in process, also need to be scale up. That's one drawback. If it were a microservices, how we are going to deal with it? We have a search service, we have a payment module, we have an inventory service, and we have several other services like that way. If the people are searching it, we have to instantiate, or we have to increase the number of the instances of the search service only, not for the payment, because they are not getting a huge number of the hits. That's one. Okay. Secondly, suppose that the chat box that we are going to develop in the microservices architecture versus monolith, that is the technology independent. That could be a technology independent because of the focus. For example, I/O operations are much better in Node.js as compared to Spring Boot, because they are the CPU intensive operations. So in that case, we can choose your technology independently is respective of that, but that was not the flexibility in the monolith application. Okay, and also the parallel development is possible in the monolith, but that is not possible in in microservices. Not in monolith is possible. Apart from this, I believe monolith having that's different. It could be for example, monolith, we have to redeploy or rebound server for entire application. But for example, if we are doing in the microservices, we just want to update the search, you can rebound, we can just update the search only. Other of the application will without any effect. So these are the advantage of microservices architecture over the monolith.
Cool. I think that was good. I had one more question. There. Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay. You mentioned in this current position you're in, you guys have to generate reports and then you email them to the clients. How many, or what was the max kind of load that you've seen when seeing these reports?
So it's varies time to time. It's depends how many reports are being processed, and but it's normally I believe 1 million records are there that we have to process. That was the load, and we have we can also go for we have an auto scaling configuration for managing all those stuff. For example, we have a setting like if the CPU utilization goes beyond 80% or 70%, something like that, we have to spin up another 2 instances to manage this load. So in that way, we have managed all those things.
Okay, nice. That's really good. Cool. Okay. So where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Like, what are you looking to do with your career?
I'm looking for steep learning curve. So that's an important thing. I'm looking for a new opportunity. For example, if I have a good learning curve where I have a lot to code and lot to learn with my colleagues. So all, not only that, I'm also willing to whatever I have learned so far. I just want to share my experiences so that the organization can also get benefited. So that's these are the things that I'm looking for my next opportunity.
That's good. That's nice. Okay, yeah, Sabu, that's all the questions I have.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Derek. Abhinay, a couple more things. What may be something you have learned in the last 6 months, something new? What were some of the methodologies you have adopted to learn that technology?
Okay, so I have learned like a conductor, like we know that Kafka is there, but the conductor is a UI tool, and I have used I have used the Udemy access as well as my organization is giving me the Udemy access, and sometimes when I have purchased the Udemy license for my enrollment, as well as some YouTubers. There are great YouTubers who are sharing knowledge in free of cost. So I'm also following them. So it's a keep on running process. Technocrat cannot live without learning. It's a compulsory. It's not optional.
Okay, fair enough. Have you faced any kind of conflict within the team, and how did you resolve such kind of conflicts if you have faced?
So I'm not taking this as a conflict because everybody have their own opinion and we deserve right to share the opinion. Okay, it's not about I always I encourage everybody in the team that it's not you or me or someone else. It's all about the team. Team has to win. Project has to win. Organization has to win. So it's sometime my thought process could not be correct as some kind of junior who is suggesting me the great idea that could be even better than me. So we have a open forum culture where we are not taking things as a personally. We if we have a conflict we can discuss, we resolve together, and we have a voting system like that in the team leaders who are agree with this perspective. What do you think? And that kind of stuff we are going to resolve the conflicts. Well, ultimately, the thing is that it's not. It's all about. Um, I hope Sabu have issue. He's might be rejoining.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Yeah. So I was talking like we have to think about the team, project, and organization first, and yeah, we are egoless people, and we are just taking care of the projects. So that's whatever will be good for the projects. We are good with that approach.
Okay. In your 5 years of experience, what may be the largest team you have ever worked on?
It's a varies phase to phases. I work even as a IC role individually. That's one team. As well as I have worked with
Mhm.
50 people as well, where I was in the module of the 10 people around there. So it's all about time to time. That's I have worked. So I have worked with the individual contributor solely alone as well. And in some of the cases, I have worked with around 10-15 members team as well.
Derek,
Hello.
Sabu, yeah. Hey,
Abhinay, are you there?
yeah, we're here. Sabu, can you hear us?
I can hear. I can't hear Abhinay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Okay.
We are just talking about the team. Do you prefer to work individually or do you prefer to work in a team?
Um,
What is the most satisfying thing which?
I would prefer to working with the team. if I have an opportunity. Actually, every having each pros and cons, but I would prefer with a team because it's a lot of collaboration work. We learn from each other. We learn from failure of each other. We learn from the success of each other. After all, we are the human being. We are the social animal. So I like to collaborate with the people. I like to learn from the people. So definitely, it's my first choice. Then I would like to work as an individual contributor.